Hey, welcome to a new episode of Nobby on Cars. This is the 2018 Honda Civic Type R. Hit subscribe and you'll get more car videos as soon as we do them. This is a 320 brake horsepower beast. Let's go check it out in more detail. One thing I love about this car is a lot of the air intakes on it aren't just for show, they actually do stuff. That's the first air intake, which is actually directly goes into the bonnet and helps cool things down. More air intakes there that flow right over the wheels and help keep these massive drilled Brembos nice and cool. And at the other side, more air. These little bumpy bits here create vortex that sends air right over the rear spoiler and helps actually keep the car a bit more stable when you're having fun. But love them or hate them, the Civic plastic at the back is here to stay, and these ones don't do anything. There's also 3 exhausts at the back, and the middle one gives an extra 10 brake horsepower over the previous Civic Type R. So if you want to see a previous video of a normal Civic to see the standard features in the car, that's worth checking out as well. But for this, it's all about the Type R's performance. So let's get started. Dare I say it, possibly the best Civic Type R that they've ever produced. And I don't say that lightly because some things have changed about this car. First of all, it's got a turbo. It is the fastest ever front-wheel drive production car to go around the Nürburgring, and that's quite an achievement. It takes just over 7 minutes to do that. So 300 brake horsepower, front-wheel drive. How's that going to work? Well, it does for a few different reasons. First of all, the Civic Type R has a limited slip differential as standard, and that basically puts more power or less power at the front wheel that needs it, and it helps you steer out of corners sooner. And versus a car that doesn't have a limited slip differential, you would be quicker on a track and on twisties. You know, it would make for a faster drive. It certainly makes for a grippier experience. So this car is just over 50,000 euro. That is a lot of money for a hot hatch and a Honda. I know. But if you got this far in the video, it's because you know what this car is and you know what its competition is in the Golf R, the Golf GTI and the Focus RS and cars like that. So it's amongst company at that price. And you know what? As a pure thoroughbred hot hatch, the Civic Type R versus the Golf R, the Civic probably has the edge. Now, with that edge comes things like the rear spoiler and things that people who can afford that amount for a car, or at least can get a loan on PCP, may not want the attention that something like the looks of this Civic provides. In fact, if you can comment just below and give me an idea, do you think it looks like the Batmobile or do you think it looks sublime? Because it's not really an in-between car. And again, I love that about it. It's a car that makes you make up your own mind. So to give you an idea of how it handles torque steer, right? The car is fairly straight when you take your hands off the steering wheel. Oh my God! Gotta give it to Honda, because they could have produced a more sedate looking Civic Type R. Do you not think they thought of that? Of course they did. Somebody was obviously overruled and they said, no, we want the Civic Type R to be a balls to the wall type of hot hatch. That's what we're doing. Now, the way they've designed the engine with the turbo, there is no VTEC power band at the top of the rev range anymore. To me anyway, it's the best of both worlds, because you have really low down power from the turbo, and even though it is a turbo and a lot of turbos can kind of run out of steam a little bit, this keeps revving and revving and revving, so you get usable power right across the band, and I think that's going to make for a better driving experience. Anyway, I know there's purists watching, oh, it's not the same VTEC as it was. It's still a VTEC engine, it just doesn't have the same characteristics due to the turbo in it. Again, let me know if you think it needs the old style way of revving the nuts off it for it to be a pure Type R, then let me know. That's okay too. Drop a gear and it'll tuck into the corner for you really nicely. Now the exhaust doesn't pop and bang like something like the Hyundai i30N, which I kind of thought it would. It doesn't do that, so it's a bit calmer. It may not have the neighbours looking out the window going, here's this muppet again coming down the road from the exhaust note. Steering is so precise. It's nicely heavy, nothing too mad. Not that it's not that it's uncontrollable or anything, but there's a nice weighting to it. It is just bonkers. It's bonkers. It is a good 80, somewhere between sort of 80 and 150 kilograms lighter than the Golf R and the Focus RS. And when you have these huge Brembo brakes on the front of it, they're going to allow you to really go into corners and brake later. The grip, and like these roads are slightly damp, and it is just not budging. Oh, those brakes are so good. They're so good. It is just a bonkers car. It's bonkers to look at. You'll either love or hate that. It's bonkers to drive. You can only love that. And it has a bit of a bonkers price tag to it. But you know what? If you really want a hot hatch, and if you want a pure hot hatch, and I'm talking like 80s, 90s hot hatches, just with a few more safety gadgets, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Obviously, technology-wise, this car is leaps and bounds ahead of that. But I just mean in terms of the rawness, the pureness, the fact that, yeah, it does look a bit like, what the hell is that? That's kind of what 80s and 90s hot hatches were about. And Honda have kind of gone back to that with the Civic Type R. There's no second guessing what it is, put it that way. So thank you for watching this episode of Nobby on Cars. I've enjoyed it. I certainly hope you have. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do so. And if you're enjoying watching these videos, like them and tell your mates. I would really, really appreciate it. I will talk to you very, very soon. I'm just not dropping this back for a while. Just gonna keep on going.